Folks, you know who you're here with, your favorite person's favorite person. Beyond that, your favorite podcast. I'm just putting it out there, okay? You have to say it if you want to be able to see it. So I'm going to help you all with that as well. But beyond that, we have a rock star guest beyond words, and not just an amazing human, as I say in the introduction, but just obviously an amazing person, higher ed professional, and someone that's going to drop some knowledge on you all and to help you think a little bit better, do a little bit better, and listen. They're a busy person, okay? They're taking out some time. So, be on your best behavior. Wherever you are, clap your hands, stomp your feet for Dr. Z. Oh, yeah.
Dad.
How you doing, Dr. Z? Great to have you here.
Same. Glad to be here.
Thank you. So I know you've had a busy day really quick. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how are you doing? 1 being make it stop. 10 being amazing. Be as transparent as you need to be.
It's like a 3 today. Today is a 3. Yeah.
Got you. Just doing all kind of stuff as we talked about before we hopped on. So thank you for taking the time to be here with me. But something I'm about to ask you to do that's going to bring that 3 up to, I don't know how many numbers are going to go up. It's going to go up though. Right now, I'm going to ask you to unapologetically brag on you. Spare no expense. Tell us how amazing you are. And as I told you before, if I feel like you're holding back, I'm going to push a little more. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm not good at this part. Let's see. I am a higher ed professional, have been for probably 16 years now, working in TRIO programs. I am the director of 3 pre-college programs, helping kids get to and through college, students that look like me from backgrounds similar to me. So this is my passion. This is my joy. Just finished, literally looking at the document in front of me, just finished my doctorate, waiting for graduation. So pretty excited that that's done. And, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm juggling some things, but I'm here.
Congratulations. Thank you for being here. What are you most proud of? Just in general, what are you most proud? What are some things you're most proud of?
Honestly, where I come from or the experiences that I had to be able to sit here and have this conversation with you today and tell you, that I just finished a doctorate, a dissertation, like I'm looking at a whole book in front of me, right? That is probably the thing that I'm most proud of, because there was a time in my life where I didn't think it was possible.
Wow. Congratulations. And here's the last question about that. I'm sorry for going, this is not intentional, but what helped? Kind of what gave you the strength to kind of keep moving based on where you've been, where you came from,
My kids, man. I had my first child when I was 20 years old, trying to figure out this adulthood thing. But I realized that I had somebody depending on me. It wasn't just me anymore. So they're the reason that I got up and went to work or went back to school and decided that, yeah, I have to do something different. They didn't ask to be here. They deserve better. So that's been my motivation.
Got you. Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it. Now, the higher ed world and, the TRIO world, 3, not 1, but 2, but 3 programs. Listen, how did someone find you and say, please, we need you here? Or did the fairy god persons of higher ed find you somewhere? How did you end up in the world of higher education?
It was very interesting. Probably the last 20 years of my life, I have allowed my higher power, who I choose to call God, lead me in my choices, my career choices. And it's just interesting, like he just kind of created this map for me, and I, did this and then did that. I started at a community service organization called Youth Build Lake County. Shout out YBLC, and helped them build a transitions to college program. Well, in that transitions to college program, I connected with a local community college back in Illinois, and surprisingly enough, at some point they had a position available that was doing exactly what I was doing for Youth Build. And I applied for it. And the person that I went in front of, you know, she tells me now, she was like, when you left the interview, I was like, thank you, God. You answered my prayers, right? and so, yeah, that was the beginning of my higher ed career. And I spent 5 years with them. And then a cousin had asked me once, she was like, Z, what would bring you back to Atlanta? And I was like, the only thing that'll bring me back to Atlanta is Clark Atlanta. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah. She was like, well, have you looked to see what they have? And at that time, I was the director of a TRIO program. I was like, no, I haven't looked. She was like, well, maybe you should take a look. Okay. Like 2 days later, I was like, let me see what's out here. And lo and behold, it was a director of TRIO programs.
Stop.
And I was like, okay, Lord.
If you talking, I'm listening.
Yes. That's how I ended up here.
It's wild. Yeah, it's wild. You just say follow the higher power that you call God, and what you've said has come to fruition. It's happened.
It happened.
Like what I'm sure I'm not the only one that says this, but I'm say what you want, and then be specific.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you say that often.
Yeah. It's weird, but it's wild to me to hear that go. The only thing, if there's one thing, it would be Clark, and then boom,
there it is.
Are there any quotes or statements that you kind of live by that kind of help you move, from step to step, or that you know what I'm saying?
I have so many. I actually have a planner, my daily planner that I use, and each week I put a new quote. And I just kind of keep a collection of them on my phone in the notes section. There's so many I couldn't even begin to tell you one. It's so many. Yeah.
No, I
appreciate. I put a new one in there every week, and that's kind of my motivation for the week.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that, because I think it's, if nothing else, the point of making sure you're writing those down, or that you have them to go through to motivate you. So how long have you been in higher ed? How long has it been?
It's been like 15 years.
15 years. So what's some advice? Because there's some folks that are just getting in that would like to be like a Dr. Z or figure it all out along the way. What's some advice you have for, let's say, a new or higher ed professional that, sometimes, we know what we're getting into. Sometimes we have no idea.
Yeah, that part. So I was that one. Look, I came in having no clue what I was getting myself into. Really, I think it's about just being true to yourself. What I find as I'm interviewing people that want to get into the field, everybody wants to get into higher ed, but everybody don't want to do the work that's required. And a lot of times we have people, because this thing is work. It's not, this isn't your get a job and, sit behind a desk, push some papers, send some emails, and then you get to go home at the end of the day. There are jobs that are like that. But higher ed, you got to get down and dirty in the trenches and get the work done, recognizing that the people above you are always not going to see your value, always not going to see your worth. However, you're doing it for the greater good. So kind of remembering your why, but then being honest with yourself about whether or not this is really something that you want to do. I often have to remind myself of my why, right? My why is I came to Clark Atlanta as a freshman, first generation low income student who had absolutely no clue what college was, no clue what I needed to do to stay there, right? Left my grandmother's house after being pretty sheltered, for lack of a better word. So I kind of got here and lost my mind. Like literally, it was, I was here to party. The social life was what it was about for me. It wasn't about academics. So when I look the 5 years it took me to get that degree, because I had jacked up the first year. I'm just like, I don't want other students that look like me, that come from a background similar to me, to have the same experiences. So that's my why. I show up every day so that I can help somebody not go down the same road that I did. And so then to sit here now, a whole lot of years later, and say that, I'm Dr. Z now, when
Yeah.
freshman year, whoo, I was lucky to make it back. You hear me? So just being, reminding yourself of your why. And like I said, just being honest with yourself about if this is really what you want to do. Because the other piece of that is people tend to do more damage when they come and this isn't really where they want to be.
Uh, you know what? If you don't mind, that kind of leads me to the next question, because I think it's almost evident the change that students are experiencing. Like years ago, coming in as that first generation student, there are different issues and complications, and there's social media, and there's all those things that exist now. But to your point, in coming towards the more seasoned higher ed professional who maybe has lost sight or struggling, do you have similar words for them? If that makes sense,
I do.
Yeah, please. I'm sorry.
I do actually. It's remember your why. And if that no longer suits you, it's time for you to do something different, because that really is what's happening. As we look at, we were just having a conversation similar to this. We have a very large, older population of higher ed professionals, who, one, don't necessarily have the capacity to shift their mindset, to do things different, recognize that the group of kids that we're dealing with today have much different experiences than the ones that we were dealing with 20 years ago. So we have to do things different. We have to say things different. We have to show them different things, and we have to teach them in a different way. However, there are so many people that are stuck in doing things the same way they were doing them when they first came onto these campuses 20, 30 years ago, and they're no longer reaching the students. But then they're not understanding why evaluations, or they're not getting kudos or accolades for the work that they're doing, because in their minds they're doing good work, but the students aren't seeing that. So for them, it's remember the why, or recognize that it's time to go home. Like sometimes you just need to do something different.
And that's okay. As that's within, and that's cool too.
That's cool too.
As someone who's aware, from, let's say, seeing the students, what do you find to be some areas that they're really struggling in, or areas where you would like to, help develop them more or see them get some more help in? Anything specific?
These phones and social media have really, they are really causing some rifts, right? Rifts in the students' ability to be critical thinkers. Simple stuff. And I say this even to my own children. Like my son, who is a sophomore in college right now, he will call me and ask me a question. And I'm like, bruh, use Google. Like, why are you calling me? You had a whole computer in your hand, right? But most of them would prefer to get the easy answer versus have an understanding that you have access to the information. I know my aunt asked me years ago, like, ZB, that's my nickname. Lord have mercy, I said that out loud.
I appreciate that. That's not for y'all just watching. You got to have connection, okay? Just so we clear.
That's not for everybody. She was asking me one day about when I got my master's degree. And she was like, well, do you think it was worth it? And what makes it worth it? I said, Auntie, the biggest thing for me is the experiences of getting, continual degrees is it shows you that you know where to go find it. It doesn't mean you know the answers. Doesn't mean you have all the information, but it makes you resourceful enough that you can go find the answers. That's the thing that these kids are struggling with. A large percentage of them want the answer given to them, or want, they feel like if they don't know it, then they're less than, versus us teaching them. Sometimes we're giving you the tools just to know how to go find the answer. But that's the piece that they're missing.
That's powerful. Going to find the answer and understanding context, not just what the answer is, but how you're arriving at the answer. I'm going to tell my age a little bit. It's interesting because, it's you get older and go, man, I'm glad that I'm bringing up libraries.
Yeah.
Those kind of like where there's, the card catalog and going.
Card catalog.
It's like looking back on that. It's like, and obviously Google is such a much more sophisticated way, but still it's a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a skill, like going to the library and finding an answer or a book. Like, how do you feel about that? Do you have a view on that? And that's not to say, heck, I know I don't go to the library all the time. Like at all.
I don't anymore. Look, I don't anymore because, we have become more sophisticated and we can find what it is that we need. However, I do remember having to or go to the library and looking at microfilm. I was watching a TV show recently, Snowfall. And, like Franklin went to the bookstore and was scrolling through the microfilm looking for a newspaper. And I was like, wow, I remember that machine, right? Our kids would have no clue what that is. They have no clue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't go anymore. Even though I just realized I found out the other day I owe my library $3. I'm going to have to pay them.
How do they find you? Do they work for the student loan company?
I needed it for graduation clearance, so I had to go to them.
And that's for a whole other story. Boy, they are resourceful. I need to know what school they all went to. Clearly, we should all go to that school. Them and the FBI peoples, wherever they.
Yes.
It's funny you mentioned the library. My son, he's younger, so we try to again, like take him to the library so at least know what it looks like, how to move through one. It's wow, so interesting. So in the world of higher ed now, what we also know is there are different associations that are tasked, I think, to help people be better. Yeah. What's something that associations can do? NAMCA, we do our best in continuing to grow and develop. What do you think something associations could do to help, I guess, in some of these blind spots that we're talking about? But what are some things they could do better or that you see, you're like, you know what, if they did this, that would help so much?
Look, let me see. Do I want to give the Dr. Z answer or the Zandra answer?
Oh, I almost want both, but you decide. I get it. One may be offline.
So, honestly, I think it's about preparing people. Like a lot of these associations have these conferences, right? And you go to the conference and you sit there and you're like, this is all the same information that I got at the last one, or these are all the same people that were presenting at the last one, or the topics are the same, right? We get caught on these hot button topics, right? So now every association, every conference, the topics are all the same. Well, if I do one of those, I don't want to do 2 or 3 more of those, right? I want us to be more innovative in our thinking, with some hyper focus on the people in the trenches and not necessarily the policies of the institutions. Institutions need to do some work too, because right, we got to get some policy and some culture and all of that. But when you look at these associations, like we spend so much money to be involved, and then you walk away and feel like you got nothing for your money.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
That was a combination of the two.
I swear I was just about to say that. I'm like, why do I feel like that's kind of like a little mix, little reading? Okay, I see what you did. That makes so much sense, though, because I've heard, there's kind of there could be the cool crowd crew. Then there's a crew that doesn't know anybody crew, and the folks that try to, be in the bridge of both. But still, you could go to something and leave like, what just happened? Right. The next time we'll go, maybe we'll figure it out. But that's so great to kind of think about, hey, how can everyone be involved? Okay, that's definitely a thought. Thank you for sharing that piece too. Now, from the standpoint, obviously, I'm sure you work with events and speakers that come in. If someone wanted to thrive and become attractive to being brought to institutions, what's something that they should do, to go, hey, I can help you? Is there any specific do's or don'ts that, again, make someone go, yeah, that person is someone amazing, or something that people do and you're like, yeah, never do that again?
Yeah, that part. So like I haven't decided if I'm biased, which part of me thinks I'm biased. But that's neither here nor there, right? But
Right.
I hate to be bored by a speaker. I don't want you standing up in front of me reading to me. Like, I hate when people read to me. So don't stand in front of me and read. Take some time to practice and master your craft, right? But also figure out how you can be the most engaging to whoever your audience is. I'm so often we see speakers come in, and because grandma told you that you were really funny, you now believe that you're funny, but you're really not funny, right? So then I hire you, and there are crickets in the background because you're not really funny. Or because you've had some experiences in your life, which all of us have, right? Doesn't mean that everybody's supposed to be talking about their experiences, because everybody doesn't know how to do that in a way that is engaging and makes people connect with them.
That's powerful.
I could go on, but I won't.
A couple more, just a couple more. If you got them, it can get. I think people understand it can get uncomfortable real quick.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, even I think
but, it's just the people also put yourself out there. I get, Stan, if I could tell you how many emails I get on a daily from people
really
trying to come speak.
Yeah.
If I had the opportunity, emails and phone calls, if I took the time to answer each email or answer each phone call, I'd never get any work done. That's how many emails and phone calls we get.
Wow. Tell me this. If you liked getting phone, because phone calls are like, they're tough. Emails are tough. If you picked up the phone, how long should what should they say in 5 seconds that would not drive you nutty? Is there anything people could, like, if it was 5 seconds long and they said, boom, 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 boom?
You know what, Miss Tate? My name is Joel Smith. I do this. I sent you an email. Can you check it out for me? If you're interested, give me a call. Guess what I'm going to go do? I'm going to go look at his email. Gotcha. Because I want to see what it is that he's doing. Then I'm going to go Google him, right? Okay. But here's where I get caught up. Hey, Miss Tate, this is such and such. We're selling such and such and such and such and such. And then we do such and such and such and such and such. And we're comparing, and we want to know, can we schedule some time to come sit with you? If I schedule time for everybody off of the 2 minutes that we've been on this telephone call, again, I will get no work done. It's just impossible. You can't get it. It just can't happen. Now, I do understand that people have to market themselves, but we have to find a more creative way. Part of that is going to be, and I was telling one of the speakers that I'm working with, sometimes you have to pop in pictures. Don't send me an email full of words. I get a million emails a day. Pop a video in there, embed the video in the email so that I can see you. Because again, just because you think you're good doesn't really mean you're good. Yeah. Right? I want to see what I'm getting. Yeah. Because too many times have we brought in speakers and I'm sitting there like, you've got to be kidding me, right? I mean, we had a speaker come in, I kid you not. When I say she read the entire script, her whole presentation. And I was sitting at the table like this. And I tapped my associate director and I was like, how much we pay her? That was my question.
Read the whole thing, huh?
She read the whole thing.
Folks, And this goes, I think great practice is not doing that. Whatever you need to do, your slides are a reminder. That's it. There's a Christmas tree. They're the ornaments. There is not the tree. And there's not that many ornaments on the tree, actually, on this particular tree. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's really, really helpful. And to the folks, if you folks hop on calls, what you stated actually was amazing. That's 10 seconds. If folks are so inclined, maybe they will hop on, check the email, check the site, right, and then be on their way. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Thank you.
Because the other thing is they don't understand that I have 3 programs. Right now we have 6 events that I'm planning all at once.
Whoa.
So when I just, like I told you, I've been in interviews and meetings all day.
Yep.
So if I come in my office and I'm jumping out of a meeting, going into another meeting, I don't really have the time to have this conversation with you. But right, my end statement is, if I'm interested, I'll reach out. And I do, if I'm interested.
Fair enough. People listen to the details in the conversation, not for what you want to hear. Listen.
Well, when can I check back in with you? If I'm interested.
If I'm interested, I'm gonna call you.
I'm gonna call you.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so very much, Dr. Z. Last question. If you could give some advice to the younger Z, what advice would that be? When I say younger, maybe we're talking about middle school, maybe high school, maybe young. What advice would you give to the younger you?
Follow your dreams and don't worry about money.
Okay.
That would be the message. Like, listen, I tell people all the time, I had dreams of being a whole lot of things. Like, I was the kid that wanted to have 12 jobs. And they were all like, I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be a speaker. Ha ha ha.
Hey.
I wanted to be a lawyer, but I also wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be a whole lot of stuff, right? But then I got focused on, and that's kind of when you come from that first generation family, it's about, you gotta, grow up, make money, take care of yourself. Grow up, make money, take care of yourself, right? So then I started shifting my thinking and moved away from some of the things that I really found joy in. Like, I was a theater actress. That was my thing. Loved it. Right? All through middle school, high school. That's what I did. Loved it. And then got to college and was like, the people told me I need to be a lawyer. So, okay, I'm here to be a lawyer. And then realized I hate politics. And me and political science just did not match. We was like, yeah, no, this ain't it. I don't think this is it for me. But then, I allowed my experiences in my life to kind of lead me into the field of social work. And that kind of, led me to where I am now. And I believe that's where I'm supposed to be. Doesn't really change that feeling that I have, because I still have a joy for theater. I still have a joy for speaking. But also, I got bills to pay.
I think we need to, at some point, we're going to touch more on that theater thing.
Yeah.
You're in Atlanta too. We're going to touch on that theater thing some more.
Okay.
We're doing that. We're doing that. I'll just say that.
You know how to reach me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That being said, any final words for folks who are going to listen to this later, watching right now, anything?
Listen, if you have not connected with NAMCA, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but I'm going to need you to figure it out. I'm going to need you to figure it out. I've shared this with Stan as well as Odell before. The leadership retreat that I did with NAMCA was probably the best conference, association, event, activity that I've done in my entire career.
Thank you.
They're doing some great work, and I am just so excited to be a member of the NAM fam.
Hey,
NAM fam for life. If you're not connected, you better find a way to get connected, and that's real talk.
Good. Thank you so very much for saying that. Really appreciate you all. You heard what Dr. Z said, okay? I'm not going to say it again. So we look forward to you other slackers. We're not going to call you that. You're just late to the party, and actually we will own that. If you've not heard of us yet, then we will continue to fix that and being a resource for you and giving you the head start and the support that maybe you haven't had or that you'd like more of. Dr. Z, thank you so very much for spending some time with me here today on the NAMCA podcast. For those of y'all out there just looking to find your way, just to feel a little bit better, just know that you don't have to be perfect. Just have to be willing to make a little progress, because effort on fire beats knowledge on ice. In the meantime, between time, make your next move your best move. This is Sam Pearson, the second. You heard it here first. Y'all have a great day, y'all. Peace.